Two teams, one state, a rivalry that cuts deeper than basketball. The San Antonio Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks don't just play for wins, they battle for Texas pride, legacy, and supremacy. This isn't your typical NBA feud. It's a clash of cultures, philosophies, and dynasties that has delivered some of the most unforgettable moments in league history. From Tim Duncan's quiet dominance to Dirk Nowitzki's unshakable brilliance, this rivalry has been defined by legends, heartbreaks, and triumphs that echo far beyond the hardwood. Today, we're peeling back the layers of this iconic showdown, its fiery origins, pivotal moments, and why it remains one of the most intense rivalries in basketball. Let's dive into the story behind the sparks that set Texas ablaze. The roots of this rivalry run deep. The Spurs started their journey as the Dallas Chaparrals in 1967, playing in the ABA before moving to San Antonio in 1973. As the Spurs grew into a powerhouse franchise, Dallas eventually got its team when the Mavericks joined the NBA in 1980. Fittingly, their first ever game was against none other than the Spurs, with Dallas pulling off a 103-92 victory. That game marked the beginning of what would become an intense and enduring rivalry. Things truly heated up during the 2000s and early 2010s. Both teams were at their peak, led by legends like Tim Duncan for San Antonio and Dirk Nowitzki for Dallas. Playoff battles became almost an annual tradition, each series more dramatic than the last. Who could forget the 7-game thriller in 2006, or the countless clutch performances that define this era? These games weren't just about winning. They were about proving who ruled Texas basketball. The rivalry wasn't just confined to the court either. It spilled into fan debates, coaching strategies, and even roster moves as players switched sides to chase championships. The Spurs and Mavericks rivalry has been defined by unforgettable playoff encounters that showcase their battle's intensity. The first significant clash came during the 2001 playoffs, when the Spurs defeated the Mavericks in 5 games. Though this series didn't garner much attention then, it set the stage for future playoff matchups between these Texas rivals. San Antonio's dominance in this series demonstrated their strength as a perennial contender, while Dallas began establishing itself as a team on the rise. The 2003 Western Conference Finals was a high-stakes showdown between two 60-win teams. Despite Dallas's impressive regular season, San Antonio emerged victorious in 6 games, led by Tim Duncan's dominant performances. During the series, Duncan averaged 28 points and over 16 rebounds per game, cementing his status as one of the league's greatest players. This victory propelled the Spurs to an NBA championship that year, solidifying their legacy as a dynasty. The rivalry peaked during the 2006 playoffs, a dramatic 7-game series that saw Dallas defeat San Antonio in overtime in Game 7. Dirk Nowitzki's clutch 3-point play late in regulation was pivotal, while Tim Duncan's fatigue in overtime underscored the toll of such a grueling series. The Mavericks advanced to the conference finals and eventually to the NBA finals, though they fell short of a championship. In 2009, Dallas eliminated San Antonio in 5 games during the first round, showcasing their offensive firepower. However, the Spurs retaliated in 2010 with a 6-game series win, proving their resilience. These encounters epitomize the back-and-forth nature of this rivalry, with each team refusing to back down. Key players have been central to shaping this rivalry into one of the most compelling in NBA history. On one side stood Dirk Nowitzki, whose offensive brilliance and clutch performances made him a nightmare for opposing defenses. On the other side were Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, the Spurs' Big Three, whose teamwork and consistency defined an era of dominance. Duncan's defensive prowess and leadership were unmatched, while Parker's speed and Ginobili's creativity added layers to San Antonio's attack. Several games and moments stand out as defining points in this rivalry. Jason Terry's suspension during Game 6 of the 2006 playoffs is one such example. Dallas felt his absence deeply as San Antonio forced a Game 7. However, Dirk Nowitzki's heroics in that decisive game turned the tide for Dallas, creating one of the most memorable moments in playoff history. Coaching also played a vital role in elevating this rivalry. Greg Popovich's strategic brilliance helped San Antonio maintain its dynasty through decades of success. Meanwhile, Rick Carlisle's adaptability allowed Dallas to remain competitive against one of basketball's most disciplined teams. Their tactical adjustments often dictated the flow of these matchups. This rivalry wasn't just about individual greatness or coaching excellence. It was about pride and identity for two franchises vying for supremacy in Texas basketball. The battles between these players and coaches created moments that will forever be etched in NBA lore. The current state of the Mavericks-Spurs rivalry reflects a transitional phase for both franchises, yet it holds promise for a resurgence. In recent years, the rivalry has lacked the intensity of its peak in the 2000s and early 2010s, largely due to both teams experiencing rebuilding periods. Looking ahead, future matchups between Dallas and San Antonio could regain their former intensity. Regular season matchups alone, San Antonio leads 115-86. However, recent trends have favored Dallas. As of March 2025, the Mavericks are on a 6-game winning streak against their in-state rivals. As of this season, Dallas has swept their 2 regular season meetings with San Antonio. While historical records favor the Spurs overall, recent momentum suggests that the Mavericks are better positioned to dominate in the near term. However, with Wembanyama leading a new era for San Antonio, these head-to-head stats could become more balanced in future seasons. Team performances also stand out in this rivalry. In 2009, Dallas dominated San Antonio in a first-round playoff series, winning 4-1. The Mavericks, led by Nowitzki and Jason Kidd, showcased their offensive firepower. Conversely, the Spurs demonstrated resilience in the 2010 playoffs, defeating Dallas in 6 games behind Manu Ginobili's clutch play and Greg Popovich's tactical adjustments. These statistical highlights underscore the competitive nature of their matchups and the ability of both franchises to rise to the occasion. The legacy of the Spurs-Mavericks rivalry lies in its significance as one of the NBA's most compelling in-state battles. This rivalry transcended mere basketball games. It became a clash of philosophies and identities. San Antonio's methodical approach, built on defense and fundamentals, starkly contrasted with Dallas's fast-paced offense and reliance on star power. These contrasting styles created matchups that were not only entertaining, but also strategically fascinating. Beyond individual greatness, coaches like Greg Popovich and Rick Carlisle further enriched this rivalry with their tactical acumen. Their ability to adapt and outmaneuver each other added layers to these battles. The Spurs-Mavericks rivalry didn't just define Texas basketball, it became a cornerstone of NBA history, showcasing how rivalries can elevate both teams. As we wrap up this episode of Classic Rivals, it's clear that the Spurs-Mavericks showdown is more than just an in-state competition. It's a testament to what makes basketball great. From unforgettable playoff encounters to legendary players shaping its narrative, this rivalry has left an indelible mark on the history of the NBA. And with young stars poised to carry it into a new era, its future looks just as promising as its storied past. Thank you for joining us on Dish Hoops. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for deeper insights into basketball's greatest rivalries. Let us know your favorite Spurs-Mavericks moment in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay tuned for our next episode as we continue exploring classic rivalries that have defined the game we love. See you next time.